Welcome to InterWhisper Live, the show all about internships and how to survive them. This is Abiso.
This is Khalil.
This is Isabella.
This is Matt.
And this is Mario.
On our show this evening, we'll be speaking with Mario Simauchi. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Oh, yes.
All right. Revenue analyst with NBC Sports, Golf Now, and a young entrepreneur. Reminder to all our listeners, you can call us live on the air. The phone number is 407-582-2906. And you can also chat with us online through InterPursuit's Facebook live chat.
Coming up this episode of the Intern Whisperer Live, hashtag What I Learned Stories, Industry Innovation, Great Leaders, and the Wildcard Wednesday topic.
All right, so how can people find us? You can look for us on Pivot Business Consulting. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. And we have a YouTube channel. You can watch our episodes there. You can find us on Intern Pursuit Facebook page, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and our YouTube channel there. Intern Pursuit Game, Facebook, Twitter, and also you can listen to us live on mixlr.com/Valencia College Radio and follow Intern Whisperer. You can, again, watch us live on our Intern Pursuit Facebook page. We always like to invite people to chat with us during the show. And, again, that live phone number is 407-582-2906.
All right, we would like to take this opportunity to thank our first sponsor, the Florida Patient Association, whose mission is to bring support and services to patients in the state of Florida. If you have not received the help and support you need from an injury in healthcare industry, contact Florida Patient Association for guidance on your rights. Thank you, Florida Patient Association. You can also find them on their Facebook page as Florida Patient Association.
Okay, we have really squeaky chairs, and we're tired of it. So I am going to bring in WD-40 if nobody else does, because every time I move, the chair squeaks.
That is a great idea.
Yeah.
I second it.
Okay, good, because this is like, I'm over it. Okay, so Mario is an alumni of Rollins College. Yay, that's my alma mater also. I'm super excited. Rollins College. Go Tars. He's currently working for NBC Sports and Golf Now, and he has his own company. So we're going to be having conversations with him about all of his great things that he's doing, and I'm going to go ahead and open up. So I'm going to start with not the first point that we have up here, but the fact that he graduated from Rollins College. What was your major?
International business with a minor in Asian.
If you mind, could you speak a bit closer to the
A
mic?
little bit closer to the mic. There we go.
Remember I said intimate.
You can
Really
move it
intimate.
around too.
Yeah.
So,
Like this?
you can move it up.
Just, there you go.
There you go.
Perfect.
Yeah, there you go.
Major was international business.
Good.
Is that better?
There,
Yeah.
yeah, that's better.
Sorry.
Okay,
right.
there we are.
Major was international business, and minor was Asian studies.
Can you
Is that
move
good?
a little bit closer to the mic?
That's good.
How about
Okay.
there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time we'll have this all tested out so our listeners
All
don't
right.
have to have us go through this with. They
Of
don't have to go
course.
through this with us.
Right.
Okay, go. Asian.
So Asian studies was my minor. To be honest, I actually started off with an art major, and moved on to international business afterwards. Especially coming back from a very multicultural background. My parents are Hispanic, and I grew up in Miami. I think
Close enough.
close enough. I mean,
That
it's
is that is Hispanic.
the international city.
Yeah.
Of South and Central America. You know, how's the volume?
Yeah, it's good.
It's good now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really Abby's second time on the
Yeah,
soundboard.
yeah.
so
I apologize for
he,
that.
he's
No
having to
worries.
learn. Yeah. So this is always the what I learned stories.
Hey,
Right.
For sure.
It's always the first time.
Yes, there is. Anyway, so you went to school for a whole year in China?
No. So a whole semester. I actually went a little bit earlier over the summer just to practice my Mandarin. I had already taken a year and a half in school. As soon as I got in, I come from, so also, cool story, my grandparents are Japanese.
Oh,
So
wow.
the closest thing in school to an Asian culture or Asian language that I could learn was Mandarin. Therefore, I was, China was booming in the markets. It was one of the 5 countries within the brick system and learning all of that within international business, I was just very excited to learn Mandarin. Took it for a year, and then I was like, I need to pursue this even further. Went and studied abroad. Spent 7 months there, and it was a great time. Learned a lot from culture, religion, to different business aspects of within different industries. I had the opportunity to go to one of Nike's factories, not necessarily their sweatshops, but
No, they don't have any
Oh.
sweatshops.
no, not at all.
Nike does not have that. Nowhere, anywhere else in the world would that be happening.
But I did go to their distribution centers, a lot of international banks. We had a lot of itineraries that had to do with manufacturers. Actually, one of the biggest metal producers of the world is actually located in Shanghai, and it was.
I'm curious, did you do this through Rollins?
I did all of this through Rollins. It was
So they set it up so you could study abroad over there for
Yep.
like a whole semester.
a
Wow.
whole semester. They had a partnership with. I actually can't remember
It's okay.
the exact
They
name.
had a partnership.
They had a
Period. Move on.
partnership. It was a great, great program to study with. We would study 4 days out of the week, and the remainder was part of trips,
Experiencing the-
experiences, the culture. Our professors, our Chinese professors would even take us out and emerge within the culture. We would go out and barter for things that we wanted, to food, all within the same language. So it was even more of a practice for us too. It's funny enough. Today I was actually thinking about what was the last time I spoke Mandarin.
Okay, that was one of my questions is,
But-
do you actually get to continue using that language?
Well, today I have 3 colleagues that are from China, and as much as I want to, practice my Mandarin with them, it's not the same. There's no actual need here in the U.S., but it all depends on the industry. Right now, I currently don't have any clients or anything in that atmosphere that makes me want to speak Mandarin. Not necessarily that makes me, but I need to.
Yeah.
I try to practice with them, and they're just, don't worry about it. You're fine with English.
Oh, that's sad.
So yeah.
No, we don't even want to try and help you there.
No, I mean I definitely understand it way more than what I can speak it.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Right.
I look at the characters. I listen to some of the dialogue, and I can pick up 25 to 50% of it.
Just so you know, Duolingo has Mandarin on there. You can
Oh,
practice
yes.
through Duolingo.
Duolingo is a great software. Definitely practice my Portuguese through there. It's definitely great.
How many languages do you speak?
So originally, my first language is Spanish.
Okay.
Right.
My second language is English. I learned somewhat French growing up for 3 years.
And wait, time out. Which one of your parents has the Japanese parents? Is your
Oh,
mom or?
my dad. So,
Okay,
Oh,
because
wow.
they were asking that. We were looking on Facebook and we were going, okay, we think he might have somebody that is,
I said it on the Japanese.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the original pronunciation is Chimaguchi.
oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It's just for English purposes, we just leave it as Simauchi. It's
Okay.
easier to pronounce, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so I learned French growing up. Obviously, without practicing, you lose some of it. I had an internship with Six Rent-A-Car. It's a German company. You can actually find one by the airport. It's a car rental company with luxury cars from Germany. And a lot of our clients were from Brazil. I mean, especially Orlando is a hub for tourists and people coming to the parks.
Right.
So a lot of Brazilians were coming in, and because I was the closest, knowing Spanish was the closest thing to Portuguese, they would throw me in there with those clients, and I had to learn. So I have, it's kind of rough, but I do understand a lot. It's all part of the Latin, language. And then after that, actually a little bit before that, I was already learning Mandarin before learning Portuguese. So I want to say, if anything, French and And Portuguese, the understanding that I have today has to do a lot with my Spanish background.
Yeah,
Right.
That
I
makes
think
sense.
we could actually throw Italian in there because Italian, I think, is pretty close to Spanish.
Well, they have
The-
their
There's
similarities.
similarities,
Yeah.
but it's definitely it's its own language. And
Yeah.
without knowing the basics, something I've learned, one of the things I wanted to pursue at Rollins, and they actually gave me the opportunity, was to pursue a linguistic major. They obviously my mentor would have to create the whole program for me,
Right.
Yeah, independent study.
independent studies, and I would have to do some go into different cultures and stuff like this. It might have extended my time at Rollins, but even so, it gave me the opportunity.
Mhm.
Obviously, I'm a little bit more ambitious, and I was like, I was trying to graduate
He's
within 3
very
years.
ambitious. Okay, just so you know, when I have talked about, and Jason was here and these guys were here, I said, oh no, he's the most amazing person I have worked
Yeah.
with. One of the most amazing. So like their perception of you, I'm sure, is that you walk on water for me in my
Wow.
mind. Because like I have had some people that, and they're still with me, and they are the same. You know, I sit here and go, they have the most amazing work ethic. They are just incredible to work with. I've learned it's something that's a mutual thing and so incredibly bright. So they've heard me say this, so that's why I'm going,
Oh.
yeah.
Thanks.
Good. We have a comment or somebody, Donald.
Oh, Don. Hi, Don. How are you?
Oh, look
Yeah,
at that.
so Don has been a client previously, and he has a couple of, multiple organizations. One is Chefs. You want to write in here, Don, and tell us what it is?
There's a bit of a delay, so even if he hears you, we won't see it for a while.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So-
There it is. He's writing some stuff. Okay, but nonetheless, we'll let Don tell us about his business over there. Anyway, okay, so that was pretty interesting, nonetheless. And I learned some things that I did not know about those additional languages that he has. That's pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to turn the questions over to you guys so everybody else can get some turn on the mic here.
Right.
Would you like to go first, or?
Well, sure.
You want to do your Hispanic question?
Yeah.
Throw that one out?
Yeah. So we wanted to
You
know.
know I'm the minority in the room now. I am the only woman, and I'm the only Caucasian in the room.
Well, we already asked you, did we, about growing up Hispanic and how it affects you
No,
today?
we didn't.
Oh,
We
well,
didn't
we would like to
Well,
know a little
no.
bit about that as Hispanics here.
So
Kinda-
you're from
I'm from Puerto Rico
Puerto
originally.
Rico? What part of
Yes.
Puerto Rico?
I'm from the central region. My family's from the central region of Puerto Rico.
Okay. And you?
Southeast, Guayama.
Guayama. Oh,
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of visiting Puerto Rico, I want to say 2012.
Oh,
Beautiful people. I mean, the culture was incredible. I loved the food, the attention. Very charismatic people, great people. Growing up Hispanic, it's definitely, I want to say, a blessing.
Yeah.
There's a lot within our culture, and the most important part is always to stay humble, especially being in a foreign country. Staying humble is important because all we can do is just even strive for more. As Isabella mentioned, it kind of fuels me with ambition to do better, to do more, and it's mostly because we are the minority here. And it's not like I said, it's not a bad thing. For me, it's personally a blessing. It just
most
drives me,
definitely.
it pushes me even more. I know another language from it, you know.
Yeah.
That's
Of course.
My first language is Spanish. And even though I was born in the U.S., grew up in Miami, but if you guys have been to Miami today, you guys understand that it's a Spanish-speaking city.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
as much as it sits in the U.S., it's a Spanish-speaking city, and it was very hard. I actually spoke Spanish to my professors till fifth grade.
Oh, interesting.
It was for me, for my parents, it was pretty bad because they were like, oh no, we need to move you to a different school. I was like, I completely understand, because it's not necessarily the professors weren't teaching correctly. It was just me sort of being lazy. I'm like, I have the facility. Yes, you're going to speak to me in English, but I'm going to speak to you in Spanish, because either way, you still understand.
Of
Right.
course. Yeah.
Everyone there speaks Spanish.
Right.
So it comes back as it's a blessing.
Do- Do you feel like as a as a minority, just you feel like you have something to prove?
Sometimes
Does that make sense? Yeah.
It's I can tell you today I work in a very American cultured company.
Mhm.
Especially, so I work under the golf industry, and golf is known, it's a European sport, it's an American sport. A lot of older people follow it. However, what I really like about this company is that they've changed the vision of changing all, pushing the sport to different diversities, from ages to cultures,
demographics.
Right.
demographics, everything. So I kind of want to say I excel in that atmosphere because as a minority, there's opportunity. There's opportunity to push for your own beliefs. There's a lot of pros for us, I want to say.
Right.
So, Matt is from Cuba.
My mother is. I was born here.
Oh, you
and,
got to talk closer to the mic.
I was born here. My mom was born in Cuba, and her family's money and house was taken from her when she was 3 years old, and they had to flee the country to Miami. So
Yeah.
she grew up there and met my dad there, but he's German ancestry. So I didn't grow up in a Spanish-speaking household at all because my dad didn't speak Spanish.
Right. But then it goes back to my point. Miami's a very international city.
Oh, yeah.
Therefore, you find all types of culture.
You really do.
And it's incredible. If you guys go down there today, you'll feel the atmosphere is being actually more
like a lot of energy, I
exactly
think. Like New York.
exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's always vibing. There's always people out there. They're trying to speak to you. You could actually sit at a bar and people would actually approach you and start speaking to you about whatever they see on the walls, whatever they'll see on the news, and it's just it's something normal for them. It's part of their culture. It's getting to know people, doing relationships. I want to say I've been to other parts of the U.S. where it's very themselves.
No,
Yeah,
I'll
very
go ahead and
conservative.
I'll call that one out. That's the Caucasian nature. I'll just
I was
throw
waiting
that
for
one out there. I know you guys are all being really nice and politically correct, but I'll throw that one out here. One of the things that I absolutely love about Latin culture and any of the Caribbean is it's very warm, it's very inviting, and inclusion is big. And like the families, they can be crazy mad with you,
Oh, yeah.
but they will cuss you out, and then it's like, oh my God, you're back into the fold. Like you would have to do something, I don't know, like kill the child to be able to not be. In the
No,
family.
that's
Like, something like
pretty dark.
horrific. But in white families, and I can say this since that's where I am, it's not the same. It's one of the things that I think that it's not quite as warm and it's inviting. I've seen that because I've worked with a lot of, I've had international students live with me, but I've also had a lot of people work with me. And there is sometimes truth to stereotypes, but not always. But I can definitely say that I think we're more inhibited. And that's one of the things that I love about Latin culture is like, you just put it out there. And it's like
Right.
totally cool.
So I wanted to ask you about your experience in China, though. I don't know if you want to talk about that. Just because, how did
I have a
you-
question too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to know what the weirdest thing is that he ate in China.
Oh, that
Before
is.
that, I just
Yeah.
want to know
Did
Did you eat dogs?
how'd you make that leap? How do you you studied at Shanghai, right? Correct?
Yes. So Rollins has a great international programs all in different parts of the world.
Mhm.
And one of the beauties is that, whatever tuition funding or anything that you currently are doing to study at school can be easily applied to study abroad in any of these programs, as long as you meet all the requirements. And when I say requirements, GPA, in specific classes if you need them, depending on the partner organization or universities. So they do facilitate a lot of, if you tell a consular, hey, I want to study in such a country, they'll make it happen somehow. Obviously, all legal. You got to go through the visa process, all the qualifications, but they'll do everything possible to make it happen. And I came in even before I started to study there. I was just like, I need to study abroad somewhere. I am, so I consider myself a mutt. I don't know if that's a bad word or not. But,
I think that's what every American
depends
is,
what context you put it in, I guess.
Yeah. So I consider myself a mutt in the sense of, my mom's from Nicaragua, my dad's from Peru, my grandparents are Japanese. From my mom's side, her parents are from Spain. I was born here in the U.S., so I have a lot of different cultures.
Yeah.
My background is pretty diverse, and I always wanted to study abroad, just didn't know where. I had that, like I said, I wanted to pursue something in Asian, within the Asian culture, knowing that my ancestors my grandparents were from Japan. The school didn't have a very strong program there, and the language wasn't really offered. So they told me I could do some independent studying and stuff like that, but it's not the same when you have a professor that shows you the basics and tells you what to really look for to actually learn the language. After 1 year of studying, I was already ambitious to just make it out there. Actually, one of my aunts actually imports and exports from China all the time, and I was really looking forward to just learning about the import and exporting industry. So as soon as I got there, I was made a lot of leads, went out to some manufacturers. I was like, hey guys, I want to make this, I want to make that. Didn't really go on to make anything. I just wanted to learn what they were doing, how was the process, how can I do this in the future. When I got there, it was, like I said before, 4 days of school, and then the rest was all based on the program to dig in and get immersed within the culture. I might be going back in circles within your question, but
no, you're fine.
The opportunities to be out there are extensive. I actually met people that were within Job Hopkins programs. There were some people from MIT studying engineering over there. There was people from a lot of Russians. I mean, obviously Russia's really close by, but there were a lot of Russians that were studying out there. English students were also there from the London School of Business, from Cambridge. There's a lot of students coming out already to Shanghai because at that time, 2012, 2013, China was one of the, to this day, they're one of the greatest nations in the world, but they were so into the market in the United States. I would see at least 17 ships leave the Shanghai port every morning.
Wow.
And that's little. I'm sure throughout the day there's even more shipping out, but that tells you a lot. And that's only Shanghai. Imagine Guangzhou, Suzhou, all the other regions of the country. China's huge. And I could tell you 7 months didn't do justice to explore the whole country.
I bet, yeah.
There's just a lot more that I wish I can experience.
Because I've always
the word, so...
Make sure you speak in the mic, because I'm getting a couple comments that you got to make sure that you're closer to the mic,
So, what was the nastiest thing
the strangest thing you've ever eaten over there? Did you eat raw octopus, like a live octopus?
Like moving?
Like they wrap
like moving?
That sounds pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
It was. I saw this on one of the Food Channel shows. It was baby octopus, and it was wrapped around a pencil, and then they would swallow it. But they had to be real careful.
That's a very dangerous thing to eat.
Yeah, it's very dangerous because you can die.
Oh, wow.
Because it's like unfurling itself inside of your throat.
So,
Microphone.
So I had to. I ate a squid salad.
Was it moving?
It wasn't moving. It was just a very big and dark seafood platter. I ate a fish eyeball. And
What?
Those were they cooked or raw?
they were cold. So I don't know if it was
They could have
cooked
been
or
cooked.
may have-
I mean,
it could have been cooked, but
But it's
it was
just
served
cold.
cold. I did that, and I was and scorpion.
Oh,
How
how
was
was
that?
that? Yeah, that's
It
actually
was-
very
it was-
interesting.
It was it was grilled. It was grilled.
Did it taste good? Like a,
Crunchy and
but is it like a crab or something? Or?
this was it was to be honest, it was just crunchy and
So you could tell it was an insect.
yes.
Oh, wow. Or well, it's not an insect really.
I don't want to say juicy. It was just there's filling. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fluids of some
Fluids,
type.
yes. That and I did not eat dog, or at least
Okay.
that I know of, right? That I know of,
Or cat.
or cat. I did see on menus. I did see dog. I did
Really?
see. I went up to a very beautiful region called Liangxing, down south by Jiangsu, and they actually had rats hanging on
I've seen
their like on the restaurants, like ready to cook.
How
I mean,
appetizing.
If they're cooked well, I imagine
Well,
it.
just like you would go and pick out the lobster you want out of the tank, you might pick out the crab, I would assume, from the
Yep.
line.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
Not the crab, the rat, whatever.
I mean, I'm not gonna knock it till I try. So
And sometimes
Who knows? It could taste good.
imagine this. I mean, if they serve an appetizing platter in front of you, and they don't tell you really what it is, it's just, man, here's food.
If
You're
it tastes
welcome to
good.
my home. You
Yeah.
have no. I mean, if
Yeah.
you guys come from a Hispanic culture. You guys understand when they put a plate in front of you, you gotta somewhat eat it.
If it tastes good,
Yeah.
I'm eating it. Like,
So yeah, I did not eat dog.
Okay, I want to know what the fisheye was like. Was that squishy?
Yes,
I would think it's squishy.
squishy,
Gel- Gillette.
watery.
Yeah,
Like
a gel.
yes.
I've had eyes before, but like cooked.
oh really?
Really?
Yeah,
Like
the
in
whole,
a fish?
Yeah, the whole fish. Like you just scoop it out of
Yeah.
the.
Yeah, now I've been
Oh.
to a couple of Hispanic restaurants and they have that, and I know that my friends, and I don't know if you know Eric Garcia. Do you know him? Anyway, he had interned with me also, but I know that he would take the eyeballs out and he would eat it too, and apparently it was very normal. He's from Mexico too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, relationships that you made over there. Do you still keep in touch with people?
Yes.
Have they like helped you out or like?
Oh no, for sure. I actually I kept in touch with a couple of people that I met out there. There's a French student that was actually studying engineering over there. Great friend of mine. We met out. So I want to say one of the best things about Shanghai that I experienced was that it's such a diverse city. You're going to meet people all over the world and with different backgrounds, different careers, and engineering. He was just there for a master's program, and went back to France, started his own company, and however kept that relationship with going back into China, working with different manufacturers, and he even does some service for them. So I've kept that relationship, Gustavo, and as well as I also ended up at Rollins. I had a lot of Chinese friends.
Mhm.
So today I have you remember Dashang?
Mm-hmm.
Dashang, one of my best friends since I moved to Orlando. He actually lives in Guangzhou today, and still stay in touch with him. It's actually there's another Alex as well. He's actually helped me through so I opened up a company named Manderas, and I was trying to manufacture in China, and he was looking out for my logistics. He was looking out for where I was sourcing my products, my clothing, and he, at one point he told me, it's like, you need to stop doing this, go and manufacture somewhere else, because China, I don't know if you guys been following the market recently, but with everything going on with Trump and the whole tax war with tariff war with China, tariffs have gone up. I want to say if I'm not wrong, I want to say it went up last week, up 27%, which
Yeah, I heard that too.
it's
I
it's
did.
incredibly high. And if you're a person that continues to bring in containers from China, it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts your pocket. Your margins are not the same. And he told me before that even happened, he's like, you need to get out of here. Things are about to change, and find another manufacturer that's going to be able to source you and control your margins. Today I'm manufacturing in Peru, which for me is so much easier to speak the language
Yeah. Right,
fluently.
Yeah, you get to go home and visit.
Exactly.
No, 'cause you brought up your company.
Yeah,
Right.
so I started a company back in February called Banderas. It's a company focused on making a brand of clothing, and we're doing from apparel to athletic gear, and we are currently partnering up with different NGOs. We are giving
Okay, so for our listeners, NGOs means
non-government organizations.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
There we
So,
go.
non-profit organizations, in other words. My goal is to give a revenue share of my products to each organizations to continue following their missions. However, they need to provide us a mission for them to complete throughout our funding.
So it's a social enterprise business
Yes.
for sure, and he is making sure that he's helping to support the economy by creating jobs. And I know, are you working with the single moms because
Right.
I know part of it is an embroidery business.
Right. So yes, we do. As you can see in the image of our logo, we do have part of it is being embroidered.
Okay.
And we are working with different mothers currently right now, mothers in Peru, where we're funding them a machine. Obviously, they have the ability, besides just to working for us, they have the opportunity to create a business out of their machine,
Right.
start their own brands. They can sell on the side. The beauty about Peru, they have gamarra, which is let's just say it's your Chinatown in New York, where you could basically find a lot of different products and source different things for pretty cheap.
Okay.
So these women have the opportunity with this machine from Brothers, where they can actually work and embroider different from shirts to hats to shoes to jackets. Also, we're also working with some for-profit organizations to create them uniforms. So
Wow.
they have the opportunity of also. I mean, as we give them this machine, we're expecting a certain amount of hours worked for us, and really, it's about 21 hours that we need from them a week, which as long as they follow their procedures, they should be able to produce what we need from each of those machines. And after those 21 hours, which is not a full working week, they can actually produce their own brand, they can produce their own business, and as much as the efforts go, they can also pay off the machine. So I'm working. I'm doing. That's part of one of the ways that Banderas is working. We're as I said before, we give a revenue share of our sales to these nonprofit organizations.
Okay.
As long as they're following their missions and they are executing that plan that they present to us, and then every quarter that we'll have them apply. We're currently in Orlando. We're starting our sales in October. Currently, I've been just working off in Peru, and I'm starting with 5 countries. I'm starting with Colombia, Venezuela, Brazil, Puerto Rico, and
We have
United
a question
States.
from one of our listeners.
Yes.
Don Crutch. He's wanting to know if you work with any Rotary groups.
Rotary.
So that's organizations, professional organizations where people, you might have heard of like Moose or Elk or any of those groups,
Mm-hmm.
Shriners. It's a group of people that get together. There is business as a focus, but Rotary is something that's national. And he belongs to a Rotary group, and they always have some type of apparel also. So he's asking, and it's a great way to connect with Don.
Yes.
So.
I would love to connect with Don. Nice to meet you, Don. Thanks for listening. I actually haven't looked into
You
it.
didn't look into it, so
And
now you have
it's
another
definitely
lead.
something great to pursue.
Yeah, he's in Jacksonville, just so you know.
Perfect.
Yeah, and he has several organizations. One's focusing on chefs. One is on honor guards. He has a faith-based organization, museum. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to go look at it. But it's for great Christian preachers.
Mhm.
So he is somebody, and he has the Pink Tie organization. So
I saw that.
Okay.
yeah. So definitely, Don is somebody. He is global. He's saying, and then it says www.rotary.org.
Thanks for watching, Don.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Don.
Yeah. So thank you, Don. I know that our time is going to be moving quickly.
Yes.
So what I want to make sure is, who are your leaders that inspired you?
Biggest inspirations.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it can be living, dead. It can be people you really know, people you may have never met. As parents, it's Jesus.
It's
It's
a great,
whatever
it's a
you
great
add.
question. Leaders, I would say. So you said leaders, right?
Yeah, we said leaders, but it can be anybody that is.
Just
giving
anybody.
Yeah.
Your mom.
Yeah, anybody that comes to
So,
mind.
so here's the thing. I once heard.
Leaders is very open for
Right.
interpretation.
So
Yeah.
I actually, I am a huge believer, or I thought. So I don't know if you guys ever seen this speech before, and I am actually having trouble saying his
Tell me
name.
what it is, and I'll look for it.
McCartney. Am I saying
Paul McCartney?
Paul McCartney.
No?
the actor. McCartney.
McConaughey?
McConaughey, Matthew
Matthew
McConaughey.
McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey, yeah.
Well, I couldn't say that. It was tongue twister. So he once gave a speech
At the Oscars, right?
at the
Yeah, I
Oscars.
remember. Yeah, I remember
And
that speech.
Ever since I've seen that speech, I've actually always told myself that I relate a lot to it, because growing up, I want to say I experienced a lot of different things throughout my life, and something I've always told myself is things don't stop here. There's a
Right.
lot. There's
Right.
a lot more. It was in 2014 when he said this. Obviously, before that, I had other leaders, that I definitely looked up to, but it's not necessarily that I'm looking up to him, but I'm looking up to something that he said.
Right.
He he said when he looks at when he's working hard and when if he can be inspired by someone, is himself 10 years
10
from
years
today's.
down the line, yeah.
And I personally relate with that today, is because if I can make it my goal to be the person that I am going to be 10 years from today, that definitely tells me that I am going to be better than what I am today.
Right.
And I'm going to push myself to that point until, I don't stop.
One of the things that I had told them, and Jason was here. This is not, you weren't here, Matt. But just so you know, but you're going to hear this story, is I remember that you and I were meeting in the library on a Sunday to go over some things for Pivot at the time. And I said, why are you here? And you had said, because it was also for schoolwork. I know that if I put in the time right now, this is going to pay off for me later. And you could have had the choice of going to the beach because it was like spring break and
Right.
people were gone, but he was in the library there, and it was just like, that just didn't even make sense to me. But he really has a very dedicated work ethic, and I think
Yes.
that's the most amazing thing that I take away from him.
Thank you. And I'm thanks. I mean, it's true. I want to say I do have a strong work ethic, but I do not. Something I also really strongly believe is that someone should also have a very pursue a social life
Right.
in every sense of the word, because it's important. Sometimes it's not necessarily true, but in life, it's not only about what you know; it's also about who you know.
Yes.
Right.
Who
Those
knows
social
you?
skills
Who
come
knows
into
you?
play.
And who
course,
knows you?
Yeah.
And I want to say I've been blessed. I've ran into a lot of people like Isabella have given me the hand in many different opportunities. Funny enough, when we started working together, she gives me this this assignment, and this was like a test for me to like prove my skills.
The assessment.
And it was an assessment, which I want to say I excelled, but at the same time, after I turned it in, I was telling her, I was like, I'm sorry, this was a great opportunity, but I just got offered an opportunity in New York, and I need to take it. But at the same time, I did offer to her, I was like, we can still be in communication. We continue working on the project we were working on. And we stayed in contact. After that, I came back and we worked on a couple other projects. But I want to say it's about those connections that you make along the way. Like I said,
Right.
I've made connections in China, and today they actually worked out for me in the best because they helped me with a problem that could have cost me a lot of money. There's insight. There's things that people know and
Right.
you don't know.
Of course.
So I do agree that you need to have a social responsibility to yourself and be social with other people,
Right.
connect, understand your networks, your atmospheres, your city.
And so when you're saying social, I just want to clarify this because he's very relational. He doesn't mean social on the sense of like just
Oh, no.
social
No,
channels.
no.
He means
Understand.
relational.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
Being
course.
relational.
If you look today at my social media, I think the last
Oh.
time I posted was probably last year. So that tells you a lot.
No,
I mean, that's
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
That's bad in my sense because I should be a little bit more active. But it's to what she says.
Yeah.
You need to be
Yeah.
out there talking to people, calling them, understanding what they need, what they're,
'Cause
stuff like that.
I don't think it's bad to not have.
We think
and
that's all wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't use social media almost at all, to be honest. I don't have a Facebook I haven't touched since like 2015 or something, but because I'm just private like that sometimes. But don't burn any bridges. It's people you meet.
Right, right.
Don't reject interacting with other people.
Yep.
It's I understand.
It's definitely in any sort of way. I think the best way to look at it is no matter what the media is to connect with someone, do it.
Mhm.
Because if it's through Facebook, if it's through LinkedIn, if it's through Valencia, connecting with someone can go far down the line.
Right.
You never know
Yeah.
where that person will be tomorrow
Yeah.
or
It's
where you'll
always
be.
about nurturing the relationship.
Yeah, there's more than just a professional relationship. It's interpersonal, getting to know the person and getting down to it in a way too. Yeah.
It sure enough is. So, moving over to the next one, because I know we are getting down to our countdown. We essentially have 6 minutes, and we have to do a sponsor
Yeah.
recognition.
Yeah.
Do you have something that you wanted to ask?
It's fine. We're running out of time.
All right. So, we talked about the leaders. We talked about innovation. We talked about the Asia thing. I think that we covered a lot of things, but what skills from your internships, whether it was any of them, do you think actually helped you with being able to get the job that you're in now? And that may not be applicable, but
Also, if you want to speak more about your current job,
Right.
Go
Right,
ahead.
So to give you guys a little bit of insight of what I do today, first I started with with Golf Now as a pricing analyst. This was pricing inventory. The way Golf Now works, you can go on the website, a mobile app, and you can basically book a tee time for almost any golf course in the country. And we're actually serving about, if I'm not wrong, I think it's 14 to 17 countries other than the U.S. And I started pricing inventory, different tee times, and as I started doing my job, there was a lot of reorganization, and it was mostly because of the benefit of technology. Today, technology changes, and you can do so much more when you optimize and you automate. And we started automating a lot of our processes. I started becoming a revenue analyst, analyzing a lot more of the business, and I do forecasting through different revenue streams today. I do regressional analysis. I'm basically tracking a budget of millions of dollars
Wow.
for multiple businesses. Like I said, Golf Now or NBC Sports is a conglomerate as its own. You know, the parent company is Comcast, NBC Universal falls under it. Then you have the Golf Channel under NBC Sports, and then below that you have other businesses like Revolution Golf. There's a lot of different businesses that all belong to these companies, and someone needs to be tracking that. Someone needs to be setting out the goals for operations. Needs to be monitoring the operation. Where is there opportunity to make money? Where is there a risk? How can we decrease the risk? Those are things that I today analyze. I give feedback to the leadership, and I basically help them run the business to the best way they can. Because I want to say about a year, if we were to look back in 2017, they didn't have that insight. They didn't have someone digging into the numbers and saying, "Hey, we're losing a lot of money through our operations in Phoenix. We need to make up that money that we lost in 2017 in 2018 this way." So it's a lot of analytical work. And to Isabella's question, the way I today could do this job, I told her to stand by, and I went off to New York.
And I did. I really wanted to work with him. I waited.
I told her to stand by, and I ended up working with Avi, a Harvard graduate a graduate from the Harvard Business School, and he was making, today it's Makerhood's organization. It's an organization that basically provides entrepreneurs, small businesses, the ability to have a home and a business within the same location. So you guys probably could relate coming from Puerto Rico, but in a lot of Central and South American countries, you see this type of development where you have live and work home models. You have your business in the bottom and you have your home on top.
Right.
In the U.S., that used to be something we saw in San Francisco, New York, back in the 50s, 60s. We have grown from that type of development, and we now do sky rises, and we do different types of codes for development. So a lot of people have not done that. Him being in New York, there's not a lot of space for construction unless you're buying out multiple buildings and multiple real estate, and real estate over there is pretty expensive. So he's providing our small businesses the opportunity, entrepreneurs, mom and pop shops, to come out and run their business from these locations, but at the same time also have a home, have one mortgage, and not necessarily a mortgage and a rent, making up more cost living. You're decreasing your cost live. Another part is you're decreasing your expenses. How you decrease your expenses? You're not driving as much. You're also working with the community within you, because another part of his development is that if he's going to have a butcher here, he's also going to have a bakery.
So I'm going to have to tell you, I know we have run out of time. This is our time. And so we have to do a real quick sponsor recognition. Khalil, go. Affiliate manager.
Oh, I feel bad interrupting.
I know. I'm sorry. We have to do it.
Affiliate Manager offers a complete management service that covers all aspects of developing and optimizing an affiliate program. Not only do we provide expertise, identify high potential opportunities, and execute campaigns to maximize performance, we make it a point to require minimal work for our merchant partners. You can reach them at www.affiliatemanager.com.
Okay, and skip the transition music tonight, because we're late. So Valencia College, we want to give a special shout out to Q. Thank you very much. Happy birthday to him yesterday. We also want to make sure that we're saying thank you to our guest, Mario. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
And for all of you guys. And then you get a real quick shout out. Make it short. Go.
Another one?
Okay, never mind.
Mom, you watching?
Yeah, Mom. Thank you.
All right, to all my friends and family, and to also Jason, who's not here. Quick shout out to him.
We love Jason. Go.
Hi, Mom and Dad.
Okay. Mario.
Hi, Mom and Dad.
All right.
A lot of
And
parental
so-
love
So
tonight.
sorry.
My shout out is always to all of my pivot and intern pursuit team. I love you all, and I thank you, the past, the present, and the future. Thank you so much. And hit close.
All right, I got you.